Dansby Swanson plays hero at Wrigley Field tonight. That and a whole lot more coming up on the Setup Man postgame show right now. Oh, what a night. Thank you for joining us. I am Alex, along with me, the Podfather himself, Kyle Stanley in the building. And
what's up?
If you haven't already, as I see the comments are already popping off, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, hit that little bell, the notification bell, so you can see all the stuff that we're up to. Make sure you share this with all your friends and family or whatever Cub fans you may know. And also, I'm sure, much like last night, y'all are going to want to celebrate. So come in at the end of the show. We will be taking calls just like old-fashioned sports radio in our new format where you get 30 seconds to get your thoughts off. And yeah, we'll have some fun with that. But Kyle, you wanted to tell the people something.
Yeah, I mean, we got to make sure that we're still plugging this because you are the big dog when it comes to the post-game shows. So, guys, I know you've all come to know and love everything that we've been doing here at the Setup Man, all of my content. Thank you for the really positive feedback on the breakdown from this morning that I did based on the base running from last night. By the way, light room right now. That was a big win. Let's share this. Let's get some more people in here. Share it with your friends. Let's get some more in here. But thank you for, continuing to follow along with us. But I am going to be in this post-game realm with Alex in a limited capacity starting in the middle of April because I want to do more breakdowns. In fact, there was a lot of comments on the breakdown I did today. You need to do one after every single game. Guess what? I got kids. I got a life. I got a full-time job. I got family. I got all this stuff. And Alex is going to take the realm, the hands, I guess you can say, on the post-game show so that I can go focus on other content for you guys. The whole goal that we have is to bring you the best Cubs content always, and this is going to allow me to do that. So you're going to see Alex, you're going to see Ty, you're going to see Sean, you're going to see a few other Setup Man crew members, and the goal here is to 10x everything we're doing here at the Setup Man. So excited for that to happen and excited for you guys to just continue to enjoy our content. And Alex, you're just going to be rocking and rolling with this thing. I'm excited. I'm really excited about tonight's win, though.
Absolutely. Speaking of excitement, Dansby calls game in the 8th inning. There was a lot that happened. So let's just start towards the beginning of this game because you had posted something on Twitter about Jameson Taillon. I thought he was fantastic tonight. The only mistakes that he had were a fastball up to Jonah Heim. Of course, he got on top of it because that's just the Cubs' luck. 2-run single, and then he hung one to Wyatt Langford, who he hit for, if it was a normal day, about 800 feet on a hanging curveball. So outside of that, though, I thought Taillon was really good.
He was really good. I'm looking up on Baseball Savant right now. So I said, and you referenced it on X, I just expected him after having a really good game with that changeup, that new kick change, that he would go back to the same thing and kind of establish it early on. I think he only threw one through the first 2 innings, and he kind of struggled in that second inning, right? And so that's where I was like, man, why isn't he trying that out? He ended up throwing 4 changeups, according to Baseball Savant, out of 85 pitches. But yeah, everything was really sharp. He hung the one to Langford, and the Jonah Heim pitch he probably wants that one back as well. But outside of that, man, that first inning, he looked really sharp. He established his stuff really well right out of the gate. And yeah, I mean, not much more that you need from him. It was a bummer to see him not being able to get the win, if you still care about those stats. But also on the flip side, I don't really think that was a bad night for the bullpen. I think there was a lot of bad luck. I don't think the Cubs even walked a batter out of the bullpen tonight. Let me double check. Yeah, there was only 1 walk, and that was from Taillon. So if the bullpen gives up 3 runs the way they did today, without walking a guy, without the advantage of like a really hard hit ball, I want to say like the double maybe to start off the 7th inning against Merriweather was the hardest hit ball. Outside of that, I thought the bullpen did its job tonight and it just ran into some bad luck.
Yeah, and even the last, I guess I'm going to call it a triple. It shouldn't classify as a triple, but it does. He's new to Wrigley Field, right field. So to see him come up on that ball, you could see he alligator armed it a little bit. Next thing you know, it gets by him. The guy's on third. Now we're in trouble. So it was just some weird fluky stuff tonight on both sides. There were a couple instances during the game where it was like, wait, what? Like it was a wild game, kind of like Sunday, but this time we came out on top, and I'm with you. The bullpen, for as much as I complain about these guys not throwing strikes. That wasn't the case tonight. I thought Porter Hodge, yes, bad luck, but I thought Porter Hodge was really solid tonight. Plus, when it's this cold and he's pumping 98, 97 consistently, like that's a huge advantage. No one from Texas was pumping that kind of heat tonight. And yeah, Presley, he got some help from Dansby Swanson, who I know we don't do a player of the game, but my goodness, was he awesome tonight. So that would be my player of the game. He got a little help from Dansby there late in the ninth, but man, oh man, this team just continues to do little things. Defense, the base running, again, there were a couple things tonight that were just like wow moments from the base runners. Yeah, the team's rolling right now. So even tonight when they started to blow it, I was thinking, oh, here we go again.
Yeah.
Then they continue to do these little things. Like there was a moment earlier in the game, runners on first and second. Yes, first and second, fly ball, both runners tag up. Now it's second and third, and it totally changed that inning. And they ended up scoring out of it. There's so many instances like that this year that I don't think we've seen, dare I even say, the 2016 team, base running wise.
Yeah, I mean the base running is fun. The base running it's a blast. How many stolen bases do they have tonight? I know Pete had a couple. Yeah, and then Swanson had a stolen base. Birdie had a stolen base. So that's another 4 stolen bases and 5 yesterday. I want to go back to Tyon for a second though. I thought there was a really key moment. We don't even have it as one of our top moments, but I thought it was really key right after the Cubs had just taken the 6-3 lead. 4 singles, the sac fly, and 3-run score. Right away, Langford comes up and hits a leadoff double in the 6th inning, and Tyon left him there. I thought that was huge for the momentum. Now, The same thing happened the next inning, and Merriweather gave up the leadoff double. That guy comes around to score, so does another run. But think about that for a second. If Tyon didn't limit that damage, and that same series of events happens in the 7th and the 8th inning, you're talking about the Cubs trying to come back a run down, and Chris Martin's probably not out there. It's their closer. And so I think that was huge. I think that was huge for momentum. I really thought at that point the game was over. So it was really weird to see the series of events that happened with the bullpen in the 7th and the 8th inning. But again, like it wasn't it didn't feel like Saturday, Alex. It didn't feel like Sunday. It didn't feel like Sunday's game, either of the Sundays. It didn't feel like, oh man, here we go again. It just kind of felt like, well, this is just bad luck. And so for that reason, I don't know if the players feel the same thing that we do as fans, but I got to imagine the players see that and they see, okay, we're not walking guys, we're not hitting guys, we're not making errors. It's just the ball's falling into a really weird spot. And for that reason, I did still feel like we had control of that game.
Yeah, the only time I was worried, really, other than when they tied it, was then all of a sudden Hodge came in and he looked solid outside of he gave up a couple hits tonight. Obviously, the triple that scored the tying run. But for the most part, yeah, everyone was solid. And I believe, and let me check the box score here quick, the Rangers had 3 errors. You're not going to win a lot of Major League Baseball games when you commit 3 errors. And we're not even talking setups and errors. We're talking legitimate box score errors.
And they all were costly. All of them.
Yeah. The Cubs took advantage. As much as I want to say, like, oh, well, the Rangers gave it. Not really, because there were a couple moments where, yes, they scored off of those, but the Cubs had to take advantage. It wasn't like they scored because directly someone screwed up. They still had to take advantage of those errors. And for what seems like every game this season, they've pretty much done that.
Yeah. They did. And I want to point that one out. It's not one of our top plays. It was one of the setup sins, and we'll get to that later in the show, but it was that PCA stolen base that then Jonah Heim's throw went into center field. He gets to third base. Matt Shaw walks. Kelly walks. Do you remember that? That was a huge at bat at the time. Huge,
yeah.
As you would say. Can you do that for me really quick?
Huge.
Thank you. So that was a huge at bat because Kelly comes up and he gets down 2 strikes and he works the full count and takes a fastball that's like just barely above the zone. I just thought that was incredible patience for a guy standing on third base, less than 2 outs. Obviously, Kelly is a vet, but I just thought that was such a mature at bat. Now, Hap ended up lining out, so you were kind of like, oh no, should Kelly have gone after it? But then Seiya comes up with a big 2-out hit. So that was huge as well.
And I know.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I know Dansby's going to get a lot of love in the comments and stuff. Seiya also was really darn good today. He had a couple clutch at bats, a couple clutch knocks. Like, Seiya was really, really good today. He obviously won't get the shine because obviously Dansby had the heroics at the end, both on offense and defense. But I want to shout out Seiya. Also, I know we have to get moving on to our next segment here. So Carson Kelly's just kind of the everyday starter at catcher now, huh?
I don't know about that. Let me look at how many starts each guy has gotten, but it feels like he's gotten a few more recently. That also it might just be a like a pitcher thing too. Maybe some of the starting pitchers are asking for him. But that was his he only had 18 at bats coming into the game. That was only his seventh start or his seventh game. So, and this is game number 12. So, it's basically kind of what we thought. It's not quite 50-50, but it's close to 50-50.
I thought for sure Amaya was going to go tonight, but then they're like, when I saw the lineup come on, I was like, oh, Carson Kelly again. And I mean, Carson Kelly's been playing out of his mind, so absolutely have at her. I found that curious, especially lately. It's been a lot of Carson Kelly.
Both of them deserve it, but he especially is deserving of it recently.
Yeah, for sure. And with that said, let's move on to our next segment, our one big moment. All right, so the nominees for today, if you have any nominees, leave those in the comments below. We will see if any of yours can knock ours off the mountaintop. But the nominees are, of course, the Dansby Swanson go-ahead two-run single, the Taveras error. Ian Happ hits a fly ball to center field, and Taveras just whiffed, which obviously leadoff double, nobody out, and that led to scoring runs. I nominated late as we were planning this. Dansby Swanson in the ninth inning, his patented backhanded slide cut down the lead runner at second base. And while ultimately it may not have mattered because Presley actually looked halfway decent tonight, knock on wood. But I mean, I think still, if that ball gets through, that inning probably looks way different. And then Seiya Suzuki had a two-run single in the second inning that kind of just set the tone for the rest of the game, especially for the offense. So, am I missing anything, Kyle? Those seem to be.
Okay, so we got the Taveras there. We got Dansby's two-run single, Seiya's two-run single in the second, and then the Dansby play in the ninth. I think the one I want to talk about as soon, and by the way, the timing of these games is killer for me because I'm doing this. I've got my daughter in one hand and I'm watching the game right here. And it's the eighth inning, and Hap hits a deep fly ball. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, I thought it was gone. And then it's like, oh, he's camping under that. And then I look away for a split second and Tavares is like, can't find himself. And I'm trying not to wake up my daughter. And for me, that just like, you could see Chris Martin. He was just like, seriously. I think that set the tone. I think as soon as that ball landed, it was like, no, this game's over. Cubs are going to win this one. I almost want to do a breakdown of all the craziness that happened in the outfield tonight. And it started with the very first play with Hap and PCA almost colliding on
again.
A ball. Yeah. And like that literally is the way it started. And then you see a triple hit off Merriweather that Hap like clangs into the wall, and it was really just a pop-up. And then you see Kyle Tucker miss a fly ball in right field that was really just a pop-up, and then Tavares with the dropped fly ball in center field. There was just a lot of weirdness in the outfield tonight. I know Will is with us in the back room, which, by the way, guys, I dropped the link down below. Make sure you join us in the back room, and we will get to your calls here in segment 3. I'm going to ask him where the wind was whipping because it was tough to see from my standpoint on TV, but it was a weird day in the outfield. But that Tavares error, just to me, that sealed the win. Even though it was still tied, I thought Cubs are scoring and they're not looking back.
Yeah, and I mean that's just a testament to this offense. I am gonna go with Dansby Swanson's go-ahead two-run single. I wish it was a homer, two-run single, and this is just me being a Dansby homer. This guy is so underappreciated by all Cubs fans. And I know some of y'all don't want to hear it, and there's money talk, yada, yada. But you get him for moments like this. Yes, of course, he hit a home run. He had a go-ahead two-run single. Like, that's all great. But just the value, even with his defense. I literally just put the sliding backhanded play in the ninth inning. I added that late because I'm just like, he does it again. He's just a constant, what's the consummate? Did I say that right?
Sure.
Constant professional. He's
Too
a
big of a
constant
word for me.
professional. He's peak professional. Let's go with that because I don't know what that word is. So no, I'm gonna go with Dansby Swanson's go ahead 2-run single. Yeah, and just another edition of this show where we get to talk about these Cubs clutching up and clutch moments, and yeah, it's really nice and refreshing.
I just counted it up too. That is 4 games already with 10 or more runs for the Cubs. That's pretty impressive.
It's crazy.
Winners of 9-4. Would you think that we would be 9-5 right now after losing the first 2 games in Japan the way that we did?
If you would have told me they would have been 9-5 after the Tokyo experience, I maybe would have passed out or laughed at you and wouldn't have believed you. Like it's kind of crazy. And they could even have 2 more wins if not for the bad Sunday performances. And it's just kind of crazy because while the Rangers offensively, their offensive numbers, if you look them up, are pretty bad. They're bottom 3rd and dead last in a lot of categories. And then, but I mean, they still put up 6 runs today. They still have, Simeon, Seager, Garcia, Peterson. Like these aren't scrubs by any means. And then San Diego, that we know they're supercharged on offense. Arizona's really good. Like they're doing this against really good teams. So if they can, as we talked about the other day, if they can just hover around 500, great. If you can exceed the 500 mark, oh my God, then your May lightens up. You could really take this division by the Castañas by the end of May.
Costanza. No, I don't even want to get into division talk quite yet. I don't want to stress myself out like that. I do want to talk about what Sean just posted, and then we'll get into what people are voting for, which, by the way, if it wasn't clear, guys, we want you to vote for which of those nominees is the biggest moment. So we'll recap that really quick one more time. You want to read off those 4?
Absolutely. So the 4 nominees, and if you have your own, we'd love to hear those as well. Dansby's go-ahead 2-run single, the Tavares error, center field, he just whiffed. Dansby Swanson's defensive heroics in the 9th inning, his patented sliding backhanded play to cut down the lead runner, and the Seiya Suzuki 2-run single in the 2nd inning that kind of set the tone for the offense. Those are your nominees. If you have one, comment below, and maybe that will be nominated. Maybe it'll win. Knock us off the mountaintop.
Let's do it. We got 87 people in here too, so please do me a favor. Go ahead and like this video. That would be wonderful for us. As you guys are voting for that, I do just think this is so great. Do you think, my question for you is, do you think it's Dansby with a better approach? Do you think it's the torpedo bat? Do you think it's because of his health? He had a lot of health issues last year, but he's at 4 home runs through 50 at bats. It took him like 120 at bats, according to Marquee in their broadcast, to get to 4 home runs. He had 16 last year. Like, this is looking like a pretty easy shoe-in at this pace for 20 to 25, which, I mean, that would be beautiful.
Absolutely. Well, and I actually was thinking of asking you the question as I was watching the game, because we know he's not going to hit for a high average. But if Swanson hits anywhere, let's say 235 to 245, roughly, that's not great. But if he hits you, let's say 25 plus homers, I think I take that. Plus, you get the great defense.
Yeah. And by the way, it looks like everyone is pretty much saying the Dansby 2-out, 2-run single, or sorry, the 2-run single, not the 2-out, 2-run single. And yes, Ways World, Dansby with an 800 plus OPS. If Dansby's never had an 800 OPS in his career, so if Dansby plays the way that he's playing on defense plus an 800 OPS, I mean, it's a conversation for another time, but I don't think it would be crazy to say that that deserves some MVP votes.
He might not be top 5, but
top
10.
No, just votes. I'm not saying he would be.
Yeah.
Some votes.
Top 10, maybe 10, but still in the mix.
Well, we got some callers ready to rock.
We probably should get to them. They've been waiting for a while. So let's first throw over to our sponsor. We will get to set up sins after the break as well, and also take your calls. But first, a word from our friends at Avia Shirts.
Setup Nation, I want to take a quick break so that you know how you can support our channel and wear some cool swag like this. We've teamed up with Avia Shirts to give you a chance to have your very own Setup Man shirt or hat. Pick from 3 different types of shirts or my personal favorite, the trucker hat. Go to the link in the description of this video and podcast to claim your Setup Man apparel. And thank you so much for supporting our channel.
All right, other side of the break here. Let's get to our setup sins, and we kind of already touched on a lot of these. But the Tavares error, which made our nominees for, biggest moment of the game. So obviously that's going to rank up there. The Young error, he got a hot shot and he just couldn't quite handle it. But he caught enough of it that Seager was able to get it in the shallow outfield, so Happ wasn't able to score on that play. And then Jonah Heim's throwing error where PCA was stealing second. And Heim a couple times in this game you could tell he was rushing because he threw that ball away and then he just flat out dropped another one where PCA was running. So, yeah, those are your top 3 setup sins for this game. And, yeah, I think it's time we introduce some callers in a news segment that we are.
Wait. I want to talk about the sins for a second. We got to give the sins some love. We don't just flash them up and then move on. No, I think this is one of those rare situations, though, Alex. And this is the reason I want to talk about this. Excuse me. Which, by the way, I can hear my daughter crying now. So my efforts to keep her asleep were futile. This is one of those few situations where it's like, hey, the 3 biggest plays that led to the sins were actually errors. I think that's worth mentioning. Like, the Cubs, you could look at some other situations within this game. Jamison Tyone was 0-2 against Jonah Heim and ended up giving up a 2-run single. There was some leadoff. There was some 2-out walks. There was stuff like that. But these 3 errors all led to major, major runs. PCA with the second run of the game after the Jonah Heim error, the Tavares and the Young error in the 8th inning. I mean, I don't know that a 2024, 2023 Cubs team would have taken advantage of all of these errors. And that's why this team is so fun to watch right now, is they're making the other team pay for their major mistakes.
Absolutely. And apologies, Ty. I didn't mean to blow over the setup sins again. I know that's the second day in a row. Ty's going to hate me. I'm going to get hate mail. No, you're right, though. I mean, I think this is the first time since we've been tracking these that all of them were actual box score errors, which is kind of at this point, an anomaly. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The Cubs take advantage, and they have been taking advantage, which is why right now they're sitting at 9-5. And we're, at least for me, I can't speak for the rest of Setup Nation, but the hopes are just skyrocketing at this point because, I mean, if they can take advantage now, and granted, they're going to hit a 2-week stretch where things get ugly, but it won't be like last year where May and June every day was 1 to 2 runs. This team is built different. They play different. And I think it's just all ultimately is going to lead to more success on the field as well.
Absolutely.
All right. Let us open up the phone lines now with our new segment, Thoughts in 30.
You suck! Woohoo! On your marks, get set, go!
All right. First caller of the day, we have a returning friend, Jacob, back on the program. What's going on, sir?
Oh, you're on mute, brother.
Don't panic. It's okay.
Hello?
There you are. I heard something. There you are. All right. So your 30 seconds start now.
First of all, Alex, I want to say your accent was decent, but it wasn't very much. I was like, well, only a decent accent. Actually, moving on to substance. I want to again shout out Kelly and Amaya. I mean, obviously we've had great production from the top half of the lineup, but these guys towards the bottom have been carrying a really big load of the offense, and I just again want to shout them out because I don't think we would be here without them.
And time. No, we agree with you. I mean, it's crazy. We go from last year's catcher's production to this year. It's been a night and day difference. So absolutely they deserve the shout out. All right, Jacob, thank you for calling in, sir. We will talk to you.
Rest in peace to Octavia Hotel, and talk to you guys tomorrow about PCA.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll see you. Thank you, man.
And by the way, Alex, even after an 0 for 3 with a walk, Kelly's OPS is 1262, 1262. I don't even know if that's how you say that OPS, but that's what it is.
That's some video game stuff, man. Especially compared to last year. My God, just so refreshing.
Number 9 hitter. That's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's bring Dave to the stage. Dave, welcome.
Hey guys.
In. All right, your time.
Time is going. They're handling the elements far better than any team. Adolis Garcia in his first 3 at bats looked at 3 pitches, swung at first pitch every time. The Cubs now have the largest run differential in baseball and the most steals in baseball. PCA's coming out of his funk. He was 3-4-4 tonight, and his hit in the 8th was one that let us go through Stressley Presley. And my sin that you guys didn't cover, Saya did not score on that double in the 6th from Kyle Turner, and they tied us at 6 the next inning. I said, I don't know what Saya was looking at, but it wasn't the fact that there were 2 outs.
No, and actually, I'm glad you brought that up because we failed to mention that. And ultimately, it did not matter. But you're right. Tucker hits if you don't know, which I'm guessing if you're here, you watch the game, but Tucker hits a line drive into the gap in left center field, and Saya just gets to third. He wasn't running with the pitch or on contact. It was very bizarre.
Marquis doesn't even show it.
No, they didn't really even talk about it.
They didn't talk about it. They didn't show it. They're just like, yeah, Kyle Tucker with the double. And I'm like, why does Saya look like he's jogging into third base? Like he should be jogging home at that point. So yeah, Dave, great point.
I know I got to go really quick, but look, we've taken 2 out of 3 from San Diego. Worst case scenario, we've taken 2 out of 3 from the Rangers. We should expect the way this team is playing right now, 2 out of 3. I know they're going on the road to LA next, but these guys, I'm telling you, we have got a legit team that's playing sound baseball right now.
Absolutely. Thank you for calling in, Dave. Appreciate you. Yeah, and to his point, I had the Dodgers on the second screen doing a little advanced scouting. They got clobbered by the Nationals tonight. Their pitching looks terrible right now. So, so hopefully that carries over, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get their aces, so for whatever that's worth. Because they're 2 guys that have pitched the last 2 nights. I don't know who they are. So let's go to Eddie. Eddie, welcome to the stage. Your time starts now.
There you go. I won't even take 30 seconds. How about that? 2 out of 3. I think Wrigley Field's where first place teams go to die at this point. Padres come on in. See you 2 out of 3. Rangers come in. You're 8-1. That's great. Maybe 2 out of 3, maybe 3 out of 3. So great feeling. And hey, how about Presley getting the job done today? We'll take it.
It wasn't as stressful. It was nice.
Yeah, he did get some balls hit hard, but I mean, hey, great throw out by Kelly there, and then you win the game. He's the only one who didn't give up a run. I think that's time.
That is. Wow, you are on top of things, Eddie. We appreciate you calling in.
You did it.
Yeah, we just got home, so thank you guys.
All right. Well, thank you for calling in.
Hey, by the way, the Cubs might not take 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 3. They might only take 2 out of 2. There's a lot of talk about it being rained out tomorrow. And I'm looking at the weather right now, and starting at 3 p.m., it's just like constant rain. So it's going to be interesting if this one even gets played.
Yeah, and actually, well, we'll get to that in my upcoming preview. But let's get to our last caller of the night. You know him, you love him. He's back on the show. He's wearing his jersey. He's ready to roll. Are you ready for your 30 seconds, sir?
Yeah, let's go.
And you're going.
Anyway, Kyle, the wind was blowing straight in from right and then crossed towards the end of the game. So anything hit to right or center was kind of getting knocked down. The ball half hit was hit on the screws, but it knuckled. So that wasn't an easy play anyway. But I'm going to give some love to PCA just like Dave because nobody's talking about it. The 3 hits he had were off of lefties, not righties, lefties. And the reason Presley wasn't Stressley is because we got a damn catcher can actually throw out base runners. Have a good night, guys.
Absolutely. And time right on the money. Well done, sir.
Thank you, Will. You're the man.
All right. So
hey, the caller is responding well to our time limit, but that was fun.
Dave had his 4 points. He was ready to roll. Eddie.
I mean, I think Dave and Jacob and Eddie are like almost like co-hosts at this point.
Pretty much. They're what, 4 for 4 at least this week or the last couple of shows? I don't know. It's the cough medicine I'm on. Sorry, folks. I'm a little loopy. So before I pass out from all the medicine, let's talk about tomorrow's game really quick. So scheduled 1:20 start, as Kyle said, rain in the forecast. When I looked before the game, it looked like 65% chance. But who knows? You just looked and it said it didn't start till 3. I saw noon. That was 2 hours ago. So maybe they can squeak it in, but I wouldn't be overly optimistic. But anyway, if they do play, it will be Shota Imanaga versus Tyler Mahle. If that name sounds familiar, that's because he is a former Cincinnati Red, who I don't have his numbers up, and I should have looked it up before. But
I got you, brother. I got you. He's got a career ERA of 4.29. Last year, he only pitched 12 2/3 innings, and this year so far, 6 2/3, 1 earned run. I don't know who that was against. I'll look really quick here, but I'm guessing that was just one start. It was against Boston. Actually, 2 games. He went an inning and 2/3 against Boston, gave up a run on March 29th, and on April 4th, he went 5 innings against Tampa and did not give up a single run. In fact, he only allowed 1 hit and 2 walks, so he was sharp last time out.
And I feel like he just does really well against the Cubs. I feel like every time I don't know if he was a Cubs killer per se, but it always felt like, oh God, we got to face Malley again. So, but we'll see. They might not even play tomorrow. So the Cubs may have had a 2-game sweep, but we'll find out tomorrow, I suppose. But for all that liked and commented and subscribed during this video, thank you so much. And make sure you do it and share with your friends and all your Cub fans' friends. But yeah, that'll do it for us. Crazy night at Wrigley Field. Glad we got to celebrate a win. As for Alex, I am Alex. That's Kyle. Above me, we're going to go put our arms on ice. Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Oh, wait, Kyle, do you want to tell the people about your watch along tomorrow?
Come watch with me if there's a game. We'll see you on YouTube.
And with that said, we're putting our arms on ice. Thank you, everybody.